We are Power 95, where music lives. Ladies Room. Come see you compliments. Renwick Thompson and Company Limited. Agents for Western Union.
2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6.
Education multiplies their chances and places the world of opportunity in their hands. No matter where they are in the world, make sure they are prepared for their journey back to school with Western Union. School fees, books, room and board, whatever the reason. Knowledge, independence, opportunity. Western Union, moving money for better.
In the room again, final one for the week. It is, come on, what's going on? It is Thursday, August 24th. Good morning, everybody. If you're celebrating your birthday today, like my nephew Michael Neptune, happy birthday. I hope you have a good one. I have anything you're looking for. I don't have. Come on in the room, guys. Trickling slowly this morning. What's going on? Good morning, Shantae. Lisa, good morning. Morning, Marianne. Morning, Jay, Laborde, Alexander, good morning, Empress Grant. Melvin Brown, what up, bro? How are you? How are you adjusting to new way of life? New location. And even say, you know what, let me throw a little something before you go, boy. Just bust it. Anyways, bro, so happy for you in this new chapter. You're so deserving of it. Anywho's, good morning, Petra. Good morning, Derek Cuffy. Morning, Sonia. Hope you're doing well. Morning, Delicia. Good morning. Good morning. Come on in, guys. Valerie Ross. Good morning. You guys need to be on the lookout. You need to, of course, every morning at 11 we go live, right? So in case you don't get the notification, you can always head on over to my page or Power's page and look for those. Let me see. Look for the 3 dots at the bottom of the live, and you scroll down and look for turn on live notification. I don't know why they turn it off. I don't know why, Mark turns it off. Because with myself and realize there are some people that I watch often when they go live, and then I'm like, what is this person going live again? And when I checked the page, I saw there was a live a couple hours ago or a day ago. I wanted to realize the notification is off. So that's what I want you to do. All right. Good morning, Jennifer. Love in the house as always. Good morning, Vivian. Good morning, Nakiba. Did I tell you morning, Valerie? Anyways, it says your notification button is on and you still don't get notified. That's weird. I don't know. Morning, Esther Matthew. Good morning, Kalish. You're in the UK. How are you? Hope all is well. Thanks for powering up. Good morning, Christelle. Betty and Duncan, shout out to all the parents and guardians. You've been eagerly awaiting your results, your children's results. Shout out to the guys in Brooklyn at the Four Kings Barbershop. They're always pumping power. Good morning, Pierre the barber. Haven't heard from you in a while, but I hope all is well. And of course, you're holding on. Yeah. Morning, Lystra. Like I was saying, I know that parents and guardians have been, eagerly awaiting this moment to get their. Good morning, Marilyn. How are you? To get their children's results, and for some, It might be good for some, it might not be what you wanted, but at the same time, please, 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 please do not be cursing your children out or mad and upset at them because they did not get the desired results. All right? There are always other opportunities for them to do it over and get it right. So no need to be upset if you heard that Tom Jones' daughter got 20 and yours got 5. Do not go beating up or stressing out your children. Okay? There's always an opportunity to do it again. Terrence Wells, yeah, good morning, bro. I know how it is. And it's something that we really need to, and as much as you might get angry and upset at, what we have, um, you're gonna get the answers you need. I know how you are about your mom. That's literally your world. So I hope you'll get some answers to your questions, and nobody wouldn't be feel. The thing about it is, people are so easily offended these days. It's like you have to literally walk on eggshells. I've learned to not take anything personally anymore because sometimes it's more a reflection of the person who's throwing stones at you than you yourself. So I've learned to not take. You take everything as it comes, a pinch of salt, and you keep it pushing. So no need to stress. Some things you just keep it pushing because there's just so much going on. There's just so much going on. And yesterday evening, I found myself going back and forth. It's something that I don't usually do, but it's just something that irked me. You guys, I'm not sure if you were listening. Terrence, nobody asked you to do that. You don't have to walk on eggshells to please anybody, but like I said, I hope you get the answers that you seek. Because, our health system, we have to seriously come to a place where everyone can say, yes, I'm comfortable with it. We hear the stories time and time again. And this isn't to blame anyone, to point any fingers, but to really get us to a place where, because I saw someone posted a couple of days ago that they went into the emergency ER, and they were like what 5-6 hours and not being attended to for 6 hours and for an emergency, and they actually had to leave. Was it Kizzy I saw post that? And had to leave, and to me that is what requires the most amount of resources and work and effort right now. Health. Because you could have everything else, and if you don't have health, what is the point? So I think we have to work hard at getting it to a better standard, making sure that our nurses, our doctors, our orderlies, anybody involved in the health department, that they are okay, they're taken care of, they're compensated well. So at the first sign of an opportunity, you wouldn't up and leave. We wouldn't be understaffed. Nurses and doctors wouldn't be working long shifts. At the end of the day, sometimes I think we forget that they too are human and they need rest. They need to recuperate. And imagine having to stand for hours, dealing with patients, long shifts. People are leaving for greener pastures. So, they're overworked. We don't have the best equipment. Sometimes you still think we in the dinosaur ages. So there's a lot of work, and I really wish emphasis could be placed on our health sector because it really needs it. I honestly feel your pain, Terrence, and I really hope you get the answers. Somebody would reach out to you and let you know what's going on. And it was Kizzy, yeah. And you'll have a peace of mind because everybody know you love that lady, you love your mother, And I always, find such joy in looking at your pictures of you posting your mother, and they always say, if you know what type of man, if you want to know if a man is a good man, look at the way he treats his mom and relates to his mom. And you're a good dude. You honestly are, Your love for your mom, it's like super, super amazing. Nonetheless, as I was saying, I usually don't engage in the back and forth because it can be very, very draining. Because you're arguing sometimes with a complete stranger, somebody you don't know from Adams, you're just acquaintances on social media. You have your point, that person has their point, and you're both trying to make each other see your different perspectives, and you're just going at it, going at it. And after a while, it tends to get, when people realize, okay, well, they can't beat you down with one, then they start getting personal. Brent says, no matter what material benefits, how we treat people as it relates to ethics and customer service and health is critical. It is sorely lacking. It is. It is. And like I said, it's not to make excuses for anyone, but sometimes when I hear, like when I talk about this, there'll be nurses, etc., who come into my inbox and they'll be like, if you guys only know the conditions we work under. And as much as they try to keep it professional, it's hard. It's like a battle because you're working with the limited resources, you're overworked, you're tired, you're underpaid. So all of that makes you want to just, I'm just doing it because I don't want to be here, but I'm just here, and that can now transfer to the patient. It's no fault of ours either. As some might say, well, it's your job, you got to do your job. But a lot of people don't know how to separate the emotions from, being professional. So they both merge. And what you get is disgruntled, overworked, tired, fed up, you know, and then the patient is the one who suffers at the end of the day. So there's a lot of work we need to seriously do when it comes to that. Customer service across the board, but especially the amount of stories I get on a daily, it's like really need somebody to like take this and work with it from the bottom up, inside out. You would not be able to fix all the problems, but at least let's see some inroads. Let's see something. Let's hear something. And not having to have the same conversation all the time. Nevertheless, I was talking about, an encounter I had with someone yesterday. You know what I realized? And this isn't intended to offend anyone, but if anybody's offended, oh well. I'm responsible for what I say. I'm not responsible for how you feel. No disrespect, no offense intended. But sometimes it amazes me people who go to church, for want of a better word, or who believe and who live a way of life in accordance to the biblical teachings and the good book, and they don't engage in whether it's carnival or sins of the world per se. I'm not sure if you all understand how you come across to people who aren't like totally engrossed in it as you are. On Monday, I had was it the chair? Yes, the chairman of the GTA on my show on Monday, at sometime in the 10 o'clock hour. I'm not sure how many of you had the opportunity to listen. And the conversation was basically around the sculptures that were done to be placed at the Molineux underwater thingy. And he went into detail to break down who did it, why they did it, what each one represented, and it was a nice conversation. I left with a lot of, a wealth of information because I was seeing a lot of things on social media alluding to, these things being of the devil and da, da, da. So when he broke it down, it really, really, really made sense, and of course the part that it was done using humans, using people's actual faces. It wasn't something they conjured up, but something they used humans as the mold, so the faces are of actual people. But I saw someone made a comment alluding to one of the sculptures being ungodly, and forgive me if I don't use the exact words, but that was my takeaway. And be careful of what we put in our waters and what have you. And, So me with my enough self took to responding, and I'm like, but God, there's so much things that, and they say, may God have mercy on us because of one of those sculptures that'll be placed under our waters. And I was like, I mean, I think there's a lot of things God should have mercy on us for that is happening presently. The victimization, the hate, the abuse of women, verbal, physical, sexual. There's a lot of that going around, a lot of hate. We have how many crimes that are still unsolved. A young man lost his life, and up to this point, there's nothing, um, nobody brought to justice as yet. Family still mourning, and somebody's life was taken. I was like, I think God should have more mercy on us for those things compared to a sculpture in the water. Who sent me? Anyways, the gentleman took it upon himself to respond. And as always, in true fashion of people who follow the good book, and nothing wrong with that. People believe what they want to believe. At the end of the day, my thing is, are you living what you're preaching? Are you actually living it? And went on to start talking about, the rights and wrongs and sins of us and me, and playing music and other things that invite sin. And it's just the hypocrisy that really bothers me when we have those sort of engagements, because when you have programs dealing with enlightenment and helping women, elevating women, you don't hear or see these folks being so vocal, but anything to do with what they believe. And the minute you circle it, you're under attack. And you're this and you're that because you don't see it their way. And I never get it. Because I'm thinking, right? If you're supposed to be a man or woman of God and somebody has a different takeaway from something, why attack the person? Isn't it your responsibility to try and bring them into the fold, but instead you attack them on the basis that they're sinners? We're all sinners in one way or the other. But it's just this persona of perfection that they're already seated at the right hand of God the Father, and they're already assured of their place next to Him, and they're eating out of solid gold plates and what have you. Is what really leaves me in a state of confusion sometimes. Everybody wouldn't see things the same way. Everybody's beliefs aren't the same. There are a lot of people who grew up in the church and later, in their later years, separated themselves from it because to them it didn't align with how they lived, and the questions that they have, nobody's responding to it. You know? So the gentleman basically was saying that we that we've placed is it a good idea to place statues of European pagan idols in Grenadian waters? And I saw somebody saying that when those sculptures are placed, we're gonna start seeing Kick and Ginny acting up more, and I don't mean to laugh, but it's just, I don't know. It's like, I mean, it's one thing to believe, but sometimes I just don't get how far your belief takes you, your ability to rationalize and think. It's like people who are so in it, it's like you go so far left. Like, how? So the gentleman says that I'm complicit in the social ills that I pretend to care about. And then I can point fingers at imaginary pastors. The man says imaginary pastors. If you listen to the news, listen to how many stories of pastors involved, with children and all sorts of things. And it's not my place to judge anybody because, I mean, like, who am I? But it's just the hypocrisy of it all that we conveniently point fingers at people who don't live a particular way to your likeness, but then you completely disregard those who supposedly live but do things. Y'all turn a blind eye and remain deaf, mute, and pretend you can't hear. So the gentleman says, after we lead people into all kind of problems, it is the church that have to pray for them and feed them and counsel them. And we collect money to influence people directly or indirectly. So it's almost as though we're inconveniencing the church because we're out here sinning, and then it's the church that has to feed us and counsel us after we do all what we're supposed to do. This and it's something I try to Christian religion and politics are two things that I stay very far from. And that is a true saying that sinners judging other sinners because they sin differently. Everything has to be evil. Everything has to have some negative connotation to it. It's never. And I saw the GTA posted some of the pictures, and I'm like, wow, look at the talent of these people. And I'm yet to see how a sculpture could have any sort of influence over me, or I don't know. Hmm? At that point, I was like, you know what, dude? White flag. Because it's like no matter what you tell people like that, you can't get through to them, you can't get around them. They are so steeped in their belief. It's like I'm like, wow. That they don't leave any room for anything else to open their minds to nothing else. And I just wanted to ask, is it supposed to be that way? I mean, I've heard of fanatics and stuff like that, but is it supposed to be that way where you so deeply feel a way about something that you don't see nothing else but that? Even when someone gave the explanation as to what's her name, the Mama Glow thingy from our folklore, stories we heard growing up as children, how come now it being in the water is gonna put a black cloud over Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique because we're inviting what the person said, we're inviting sin by placing it. That was my exact sentence. Some of y'all are too perfect for me. I can't deal. Because when you stand next to them, they make you feel like, well, they try. And if you don't know better, you really let people make you think that hey, you're not worth jack because of all this, hypocritical posturing and Bible sweating under your arm and all of that. That does not make you a good person. Going to church does not make you a good person. I've seen some of you go to church. You're driving in your nice air condition, and a member of your church lives in the same neighborhood. You're passing with your car empty, and you will not stop and give her or him or the little family a ride and say, okay, we'll meet before whatever time. Going or not going does not make you a better person. Are you living what you're going there to do? Do you help? If you know your neighbor has only bread for today and children to feed and not sure what they're eating tomorrow, do you take a loaf of bread from your own and give to them? Do you? Or is it just the looks because you go to church and somebody else does not go that makes them what they are and make you better? I don't get it. I've come across, and this is not for everybody. Is not across the board. But some of the people that I've had dealings with that has been very unpleasant are those who claim to be of good standing with the Lord, or those who say they are Christians. The way you treat people is what's important. Brent, you saw it, right? It was, and I mean, that was my first brush, my first encounter with somebody. The fanatism, it's real. I mean, I've heard people talk about it. Like I said, certain things I usually stay away from. But that one, I was like, nah, man, we have to know better. Can't be telling people those things knowing there's way more things, more realistic things in front of us that needs attending to. Like I said, rape, abuse, etc., than a whole conversation about a sculpture underwater that's going to cause problems. That's going to cause, we're going to need to pray because we're going to need God to have mercy on our souls for placing a sculpture. After it was broken down and explained, we go to church and genuflect before sculptures, right? It is just placed there. Nobody's going below there and holding crusade or anything of the sort. People just go, they look at it if they wish, and they go about their business. But it's just crazy how we think sometimes, But like I said, my whole thing is not what you do, it's how you treat people. You can go 7 days a week, but how do you treat people? Do you help? Do you give to anyone in need? That's the question. Ain't a perfect man or woman walking this earth, no matter how many days of the week you go to church. We all have chapters we would not like to be read out loud. So as much as people might think, hey, nobody knows, and that makes it okay, we all have some part of our lives we don't want read out loud. There's no perfect man or woman. There's no perfect being. So sometimes you just have to keep it pushing, right? Oh, for the last part of my, how much minutes we have? Like 10? Yeah. So we're back, and I swear I have over 20 something messages in my inbox to do with, relationships. And this one, I want to say to this young lady, I'm not sure what's your age, but at some point, as women, we have to start understanding the importance of putting our needs and ourselves first before anything and anybody else. Because you could be in a relationship for years, giving your all to one person, putting your needs on ice, and that person could leave you and move on, and you have absolutely nothing to show for it. You literally dedicate your life to making sure that other person is happy, they're comfortable, they're okay. Because I'm trying to understand how this lady says she has 3 children with her boyfriend, and they've been together for 8 years. 3 children, a boyfriend, 8 years. And it's like we see things, but we expect a different result, or we want the person to be something else. Because she said during the first 3 years, he would get vexed if a male was to call her or saw her talking to one. But that did not stop him from talking to other females, right? So Miss Lady says they had a big falling out not long ago and they're trying to move past it. However, she still accepts blame and says that it's her fault that the fallout took place in the first place. All right. And then it moved to this phone number that keeps calling the man phone, and which he refused numerous times to answer in her presence. So she says one night she was in the kitchen making supper for the children, and the same number, which she already saved. You know, us women, we could be CID, FBI, you name it. You already saved that number in her head, and then transferred it, memorized it, and then transferred it to her phone, so she knew the number. She says, keep in mind that he works bus. However, all his contacts have a name or a bus number plate. That's smart. Homeboy have all his numbers saved as bus number plate. Or but anyway, she says the number call again, and she peeped the number and she did like she didn't see it. And when he finally responded after the person calling numerous times, he said, I can't help you, and hung up the phone. And the number called back about 6 times after. So then she said later on, she got to find out when they had some little problem in their relationship that he had been leading on a young lady. And the young lady, he says, became obsessed with him. Homegirl says about 20 minutes to 1 in the night, she's there reading some Wattpad on his phone and a call came in. Minutes to 1 in the night, in the morning rather. And she says that she ignored it, but she knew who was calling. The person called back 3 times. I don't know. I don't have those kind of patience again, honestly. Like, the way my piece set up, they wouldn't even be the opportunity for 1, 2, 3 times. So she answered the phone, and homegirl was like, can I speak to, the name was there, but I blotted the name because y'all, they don't have no behavior. You're going to go searching for the gentleman on the bus terminal, and I ain't about to be beaten over my head with no stick for none of y'all. So the person says, can I speak to so-and-so, please? And she says, why do you want to, she answered the man phone and asked why you want to speak to so-and-so this hour of the night. Don't call back the number. The person said, okay, hung up. So she said he was sleeping, so she dropped a hard slap on him, and he jumped up. And she was like, tell your little woman and them know what time to call you. So after that, she's monitoring the phone to see how regular they're talking. Miss, that is a job you're not getting paid for. And take it from me when I tell you it's not worth it. Because you can do all that, and if homeboy decides to bounce, he's going to bounce regardless. She says the girl is younger than her by roughly 4 years or so. And she questioned him. She asked him her age and she finished school, yada, yada, yada. He said yes, and she doesn't always ride the bus. So, miss, unless you're prepared to go sit on the bus and ride up and down whole day with the mister, there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do about it is either accept it or take your 3 children out of that situation. Stop working on yourself. Stop loving yourself. Stop being more kind to yourself. So you're saying you're lied to over and over. And a lot of the times you all ask for advice, but you're the ones in the situation and you already know that is no good. So sometimes me, myself, I just post them, but I'm like, what advice do you possibly need? You just outline everything that's wrong about a relationship, toxic about a relationship. I'm yet to see one good thing that I can use and say, you know what, maybe it's worth fighting for. Y'all was sending paragraph after paragraph of all the reasons why this person is not a good person or you shouldn't be in a relationship with that person. But at the same time, still want advice. It's like y'all want somebody to say, you know what? Don't worry about that, man. Don't watch that. Stay and jam. Fight up with your man. Don't bother with them. You and the man did together for 8 years, 3 children. Don't make no woman come and take your place. So you should be telling us what you plan to do, and not so much us telling you what you should do. You're in the fire. You're the one feeling the heat. You should know if it makes sense fighting up or letting go. Because number one, you say boss man. Number two, you say the young lady, the man say just give her a ride. Ride in more ways than one. So like I said, it's either you decide to become a conductress, you sit and pull door up and down the place, and that way you're in control of the situation. But as long as you're not, there ain't nothing you can do about it unless you decide to leave. Because that's not going to stop him from doing whatever. If it's not her, it's going to be somebody else. Are you going to be a security guard for the rest of your life? 8 years you've given to a person, 3 children. Do you want to be a security guard, constantly keeping tabs, going through phones, tracking movements, length of time they stayed on the phone? Girlfriend, that's a job you don't get paid for. And the question you need to ask yourself is it worth it? Jacqueline, where you come from after what time now? 11:32, you're just strolling morning. You sleep out, Jacqueline? Like you sleep out, miss. You're strolling after 11:32, yes? Hey Derek, Trinidad in the house, good morning. So yeah. I'm not one to tell anybody to leave or to stay. As like I said, you're the one in the fire. You're the one feeling the heat. You know what's making you happy. You know what's making you unhappy. Balance it. Yeah? Weigh the pros and cons. What's more? Which one outweighs the other? Pros and cons. Which one outweigh the other? If there's more good times and it's worth fighting for, by all means. If you've had enough, then you know what to do. There, you also have that option. But do not sit there and act as though you're powerless and you can't do anything about a situation. Yes, you can. Yeah? So you decide what you're going to do. I wish you well. Hope you make the best choice for yourself and your 3 children. Not too sure what's the age group, but I hope whatever choice you make, it's in their best interest. And yours as well. Hence my topic. When are we going to put ourselves first? You can't be good to everybody else and not good to yourself. And that is a problem. Jason Ski, good morning. What you working G-Force? Congratulations, Mr. Skeet, on your anniversary. Beautiful letter to your wife. Really nice. You can be very eloquent and Mr. Spokey when you choose to. Just playing, but congratulations and happy anniversary, Desiree and Jason Skeet. And a really nice letter to her. I love it. Really, really well done. Yes, get on my nerves sometimes, but you come good day. Trust me. It wasn't even me, and I was sitting there reading and smiling. I'm like, they're not bad out there, You just have to find the good ones, But they make the bad ones seem so plentiful. It feels like there aren't there's not enough good ones, but there are. You just have to sift them out. ask questions. And just so you might find yourself with a wordsmith like a Mr. Skeet. Anywho's, y'all, final one for the week. I'll see you guys next week, God's will. Thank you so much, Western Union, and thanks so much, everybody. Those of you listening on the radio, 95.1, 95.3, or you've been listening via YouTube or Facebook or any other of the platforms or our website, etc. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Where Kizzy come on this hour self? Kizzy and see the time? About hi and bye? Go goodbye. Yeah, Jason, I felt it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Whatever you're doing, make sure that you're powered up. And I'll see you guys next week.